Hey y'all. Hey everybody. Um it's Sunday and maybe some of y'all know that I've been traveling for days. Days, I tell you. Days. Like a lot of days. Like this is the first time I've been home in my studio in a month, right? Like a whole month I've been on the road. So what I want to do is check in with you about something that I have learned. And I was going to do this during the week, but I said, people are probably more available on a Sunday evening, which is not usually what your girl does. But hey, let's do it. Um, we're going to give people just a second to come on in. Um, and then we will get started. So, let me make sure our connections are live. How about that? Great, great. We're on here. All right. So here's the topic for tonight. The topic for tonight is how your discipline can be deceptive. And again, I was going to save this for a little while later because we haven't really been as avid with our podcast as we were last year. And I was talking to some of my clients about this topic, and it was interesting to hear their responses. And I'm going to give y'all some of the kind of highlight reel, I guess, just to make sure that maybe you understand what we're talking about. So here's what I want to do. One, let's just go back and start this correctly, shall we? As steps and stages, we have a mantra that we start every last bit of our interactions with, and it just says that a lot of things happen before this, and I guarantee a lot of things are going to happen after this, but I promise to be here with you now. Please be here with me now. Now, we're going to talk tonight about discipline as it can be a deceptive tool. Now, most of you are probably tuning in because you are an avid student of self-development and you know exactly what you think about how your atomic habits are changing your life and all of the things that are wonderful about discipline. And what's interesting is that today, another thing that pushed me to talk about this tonight publicly is that I had a text from a friend who said, "You are one of the most disciplined people I know." And I was like, "Oh my God, yes, that's a huge perception of me. The things I say I'm going to do, I do them. The things that I commit to, I commit fully. I don't do anything halfway. And y'all know I got two core values, love and trust. I don't do anything I don't love, and I don't work with people I don't trust." Now, the other part of that is that my discipline has been something that has been really cultivated in me since the beginning. Now, if we look at the word discipline, let's just show the definition here. So, discipline is the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. A lack of proper parental or school discipline is the example, control or regulation. Now, what we're basically saying here is that most of us develop a discipline out of something we lack. We develop a discipline out of something we've been doing, can't do, doesn't go well. So now we have to find a corrective behavior to do it better or keep us in the flow. Now, when I was growing up, I learned discipline first in a dance studio. For those of you who know, I was a professional dancer for 20 years. I just came from teaching at a dance festival, all these things. So discipline became something that I learned as you show up. Even if the material is the same, you find a better way to do it. And if you can communicate through your body in a language that other people are not well equipped to, then you must be doing it right. It also taught me to take correction from a leader. It also taught me not to take it personally and to allow myself to be humbled and submitted to the greater good. Now, when we explain discipline to our children or to our students or to our clients, or when discipline is explained to us, a lot of times it is retroactive. It is because we're not doing something right. And then we start to build in these disciplines, these habits, these things that we check off the list. I talk to my clients all the time about habits versus rituals. You might brush your teeth every day as a good habit, but you don't show up to it as a ritual that might change who you are and who you're becoming. So what we want to do is we want to think about the difference between these habits and these rituals, and we don't want to be deceiving ourselves by telling ourselves that just because we're checking it off the list, that we're growing, we're transforming, we're becoming someone different. Because a lot of us have been so accustomed to checking the boxes that the discipline of getting something done keeps us from becoming who we're meant to be. You feel caught up in the rapture of doing. You feel successful. You feel accomplished. You feel legitimized by the structures around you that you can control by doing the thing. Now, true surrender happens when we can no longer control the pieces, the parts of our world, and those things start to transform us because they start to crumble or change or transform what they've been used for. Now, when you are so adamant about your discipline, the discipline itself can be hiding you from the thing that is going to grow you. Now, here's what I mean. Some of us have boundaries that we've set up. Some of us have structures and schedules that keep us on track. Now, just imagine that the boundary is the north wall. The structure is the east wall. The commitments and relationships are the west wall, and the south wall are all the hurts and fears that you don't want to go back to. Now, at this point, I have surrounded myself with a structure that is supposed to protect me, but really it is keeping me isolated from any other form of growth that will get me to the other side of one of these walls. Right? Because if we just continue to wall ourselves in, then all we're doing is looking at the things that we can control, and we're looking at the things that we know that will reflect back to us. The fear and transformation are the border of the reality we haven't known yet. So if we continue to wall ourselves in with our disciplines, with our successes, with our structures, with the things that we know, then we may never grow to the next version of ourselves. And if we don't grow to the next version of ourselves, then how are we really growing in this life? Right? The goal of life is not to attain or acquire, it is to become. And if we have stopped ourselves from becoming because of our fears, because of our need to control, because of our own version of success, and because of the discipline that we have built up to keep us safe, then that safety is actually a deceptive tool that keeps us from growing. Now, I don't mean that you can't be disciplined, because obviously I'm a very disciplined person, right? But I do know in my own life, just recently, having examined my own daily practices, that some of my disciplines have kept me from doing some work of deep healing. And I don't want you, right? As a coach, my job is to go out and have these experiences so I can help you accelerate your own transformation, right? Understanding comes after experience. So my job is to share my experiences with you so that you can have a platform, a background, a foundation for which to then see yourself and your own transformation. In my own life, I have understood that a 13-year discipline that I have held on to for many years has actually kept me from seeing a side of myself that I didn't even know was there, or maybe not didn't know it was there, but thought it was healed, right? So what I want to do for you is give you the opportunity in this week, in this month, in this next stage of your own transformation, to examine the things that make you feel in control. Examine the things that make you feel strong. Examine the things that make you feel successful, and then try your best to push past and surrender to what might be on the other side. It is not failure if it gives you the feedback you need to transform. It is not giving up if you understand that you are testing a limitation that no longer serves you. It is not failing. It is not losing. It is becoming. So this week, my ask of you is to test out the boundaries, the borders, and the barriers that you have put up around your mind, your heart, your life, your success, your vision, and make sure that they are still intact for what you need them to do. And if you have questions, if you have thoughts about this, feel free to drop them below this video. And if you haven't yet thought about finding a coach, finding a community, jump over to thevisionstep.com. This one is about discipline, and I want to hear how it works for you. Have a great week, y'all.